right. That man is ready. Thank you very much. When we finish, meet me for an honorable handshake.
Oh, it's just an handshake.
All right. So I think we'll move up by introducing our next keynote speaker.
Great. So I had introduced him earlier, but I think that was too. I was super excited to listen to Mr. Dapo Omolade. As you know, he's a seasoned safety professional, and we also want to thank him for flying all the way down from Delta State to grace this occasion, especially. So please let's give him a round of applause as he walks on stage. The very erudite Mr. Dapo Omolade. He's going to be speaking on significance of continuing professional development on workforce productivity. That's his topic. So let's listen attentively and take notes down too. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please celebrate him once again. The leader of leaders, the safety planner, the coach, the more,
and many more.
The mentor for most of us. Thank you. Welcome, sir.
All right, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Happy New Year to every one of us here. We are still in the new year. It looks like Lagos is making us forget quickly. Or it's your January 60 days. For an employer like myself, I want January to be 90 days. I'm sure you understand what that means. But I know for some of us here, you want it to be tomorrow, right? That's the two sides of the coin. So don't worry. All right, so welcome to this event. I would like to say a big thank you to Waliu and to everyone who has been part of this drive. I'm particularly excited at seeing this happening. And if you don't mind, I would like us to put our hands together for Waliu. If you don't mind, please. Yeah, it's very good to see the kind of energy, that is right there in that young man, and I'm quite delighted to be part of his journey, and I know a lot of us here are also part of that journey, and one of the things that would be a good learning point from us is just to convince ourselves continuously that you can be all that you want to be. That is a very good way, and of course the presentation we just had now has something close to that. I mean, nobody has a right to actually stop you. As a matter of fact, nobody has a right to stop you. So if you are being stopped anywhere along the journey, then I think you have to ask yourself why you are stopping yourself. And I think that's what Waliu has been doing the last 6 years, and pushing and pushing and pushing. And it's not an easy thing to gather this number of people seated here. If you have ever organized an event before, you know how difficult it is to have 10 persons attend. So when you have this number here, then it's a good one. And I don't want him to be any discouraged. When you're organizing an event, you just jump around. I have to drag him now. Come and take a picture with me now, please, because he's just jumping everywhere. I know how it feels. So well done, Waliu, and thank you for coming. I'm sure at the end of today we will learn something. That's why we're here. Either you are paid to be here or you didn't pay. We have to learn something. And I learned something from what Fatima was just saying just now on psychological safety. It's a leadership conversation. And I think all of us here who are aspiring to be leaders or who are leaders, needs to pay attention to some of the little nuggets that should actually drop there, because we all aspire to be leaders. I can't see my screen, but I'm hoping my screen is turning, so it should be on slide 2 right now, if I'm not mistaken. Is it turning? It's not, so you have to help me then. So if it's not moving, you have to help me. Okay, so I should be on slide 2 right now. All right, so this conversation is around CPD. About a month ago, I was having a conversation with Waliu, and I asked him a very simple question. Who are our audience? If you remember, I asked that question when this was being put together because it's very important to know the audience, and he was very explicit about the audience on who we're expecting. And coming in here, if I'm not mistaken, close to 50% of people here will be in that cluster of those of us who are emerging in health and safety, who are growing in it, who are learning things and just want to be the best that we can be. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, that will be the biggest learners from what I'm going to be talking about right now. But for some of us who already consider ourselves dinosaurs, it may also be important for us to learn on this. Julius is laughing, my professor, because you can get to a point you think you're a dinosaur. When I say that, I'm also speaking to myself. In our business, during our retreat last year, I told everybody by January ending, we want to see your training plan on what you want to learn this year. So a few days ago, one of my very good colleagues reminded me, said, "Dapo, you have not sent your own training plan." And quickly I remembered that I'm being a dinosaur. So that means this year can also disappear without me learning anything. And I have to complete my CPD and have to show things. Yes, I may have enough resources for my CPD. I actually do. But the point is, we all need to keep learning. So this topic is a very important topic, because either you are starting or you are already on the journey, you have something to learn from here. Significance of CPD on workforce productivity. My profile has been given, so I'll jump that, and I'm now on slide 4. If the slide can go to slide 4 on module content. So these are the few things I'm going to talk about. I'm sure I have about 35 minutes remaining right now, so I'll try and keep it within that time. Understanding the key concepts. Why is CPD important? I'll be looking at the CPD learning as well, the types. I'll look at CPD cycle, benefit of CPD, now to employers and to employees. So everyone has something to gain from CPD, continuing professional development. I'll be calling us to action. That's one of the things I learned recently, to make my presentation and call people to action. What do you want to do after now? Sometimes talk is cheap, talk is easy, talk is sweet, and you leave here, what was said, it was very interesting. Nothing substantial has been taken away. Things can be very interesting, but nothing has been taken away. So this day when I make presentation, I ask, call to action. What will you do as a result of this event today? What will you do after this conversation here? And I'll be concluding on this conversation. Next slide. One of the greatest persons recently that is still alive that have influenced quite a number of my conversation is Brian Tracy, because he's an authority when it comes to the issue of learning and continuous improvement. So I've read quite a number of his books, and I still keep following him. And this quote, which I call food for thought, are directly from him. They are not my words. Personal and professional development is your key to the future. And many times we say we're in the future, right? The Nigerian youth are the future of tomorrow. You will hear future all the time. And then when you hear that, what you should still keep asking yourself is, how do you actually become relevant in that future? And I think one of the things Brian Tracy has said is that continuous personal, if there's anything to underline there, is the word personal. That means you have no excuse that your company did not train you. This is what I hear all the time. Oh, my company did not train me. My company did not send me for this. Let me surprise you here. Every company trains you for what they want you to achieve for them. I work in a company and I lead a company. When I see your training plan, the first question in my head, how does this tie to hybrid objective for this year? If you can't explain, I won't approve. It's as simple as that. So I'm using myself as an example. So if you now go to big organizations and saying, they train me for this, but look at the course I want to come and do, you can't feel like coming to do a course. It has to be tied to what you do or what I think I need you to do for the business. So what if your plan for life is not what you are doing right now? How are you developing yourself? Personal, yourself. So the first takeaway from me is Anything you want to become has to come from you personally. If your company is training you to be an engineer and what you want to be tomorrow is a doctor, I'm just using those two extremes. You will be trained for 30 years as an engineer. The day you retire, you find out that you are an engineer, you are not a doctor. And companies are not at any level of offense, or they have not committed a crime by training you for what they want you to achieve for them, not what you want to do for yourself tomorrow. Two distinct pathways. What are you looking at in the next 5, 10, 20 years? Is your company in that direction? Are they training you for that? If not, you can't become it. It's not a prayer. You need to be deliberate personally. One quality of leaders and high achievers in every area seems to be a commitment to ongoing personal and professional development. Again, the same word, personal and professional. So this guy knows what he's saying, and I believe it very strongly. I can't want to be the governor of Lagos State in 10 years' time, and I'm not yet in the political party. I'm joking. No, you are joking. I know some things happen, they will just grab you, come and join right now. But before they grab you to come and join right now, they already seen some things you're already doing. It could be in another place. So there must be personal and professional. Your life. What exactly do you want? So it starts from somewhere, and that's where I'm going to. And that's what he's saying right now. What exactly is in that future that you are seeing? That's what determines your journey. If you are not deliberate about it, you will arrive at a place, but you arrive doing something else that is not what you want to do. Slide 5. So quick introduction, and I'll just read through this. The strength and quality of any profession. I'm assuming here, majority here will be health and safety professionals. But this presentation is not just for the health and safety, it's for everyone. But I will be dovetailing to health and safety because I know that's where most of us play. The strength and quality of any profession largely depends on how it manages the 3 stages of competence and expertise. First stage, preparation. Second stage, induction, or what you call integration. And the third stage, ongoing development of its members or persons. 3 stages: preparation and planning, induction and integration, and then ongoing. What most of us did by going to university is actually preparation. So when you are told Nigerian graduates are not fit for the market, that's correct. Because it's in Nigeria, people can go to school for 5 years without visiting an industry one day. In other parts of the world, it's not like that. My daughter is in school right now. In her first year, she's done almost 2-3 months workplace experience. Year 1. But here, I didn't get to any place until I was in my year 4. And I was lucky because my internship was asked to be a big one, and we're sent to the forest of where Julius is from. And I was in Cross River National Park, Obudukatu Ranch, and all of those places for 6 months. Dumped there. This is what, you know what I read? I read forestry, so I have to be in the forest. So that's why they kept me for 6 months. So I saw animals, I know their name. I saw trees, I could name them. So I got fit. But many of us didn't have that chance. Even when they send you for the IT, you go and do IT as an engineer, you disappear to the bank and get paid. Then you come back and you say, I've done IT. So indeed, we only got prepared. University prepares you. There are 2 more stages to becoming who you want to be. Integration and then the ongoing development. Please note that. So don't kid yourself that you have graduated. I wish I knew this a long time ago. Maybe I was lucky a bit, but this is what I'm telling people now. Graduation is just the preparation, no matter what course you have read. How many of you agree with that? How many of you align with that? You don't need to agree, but do you align? Because you don't want to agree because you know you missed it that way. So don't worry. We can make corrections right now. Number 2, adequate preparation is ensured through profession-specific education. So you see what I'm saying now? Profession-specific education with judicious balance between theory and practical components, supplemented by field exposure, apprenticeship, and on-the-job learning or training. It is then followed by systematic and gradual induction and integration, supported by mentoring, internship, shadowing. So they put somebody that say shadow him and be looking at everything he's doing. Teamwork, preparing new entrants to be independent, autonomous, and competent professional. This is the journey to becoming who you want to be. University is the first stage. There are two more important stages. If you don't go through them, you can't become anything called successful professional. As a matter of fact, you are not a professional because you studied in university. That word professional becomes something when you have started the stage 2, integration, and then stage 3, ongoing professional development. Next slide. So some key concepts, I'll just define them. CPD. So let's start from significance, because that's what the topic is. The quality of being worthy of attention. So significance, importance, extent at which something matters. Importance of something has because of affecting other things. Meaning of something. So when you say you are significant, it means you are important. Second one, CPD. I've been using the word continuously. So let me read some very interesting words I got when I was preparing for this. This is one of the presentations that took me to the books. And thank you for I have a month. So I kept going left, right, and center. Going to what I've done as well. Went to my CPD journals. Brought my log up and said, what exactly am I doing? So a lot of things here are my own thoughts based on what I've been doing all my life as well. So the term continuing professional development, also known as CPD, describes the type of learning activities that professionals engage in to develop their skills and abilities further. It stands for continuous professional development and is the term used to describe the learning activities professionals engage in developing and enhancing their abilities. It's a holistic approach towards enhancement of personal skills and proficiency throughout a professional's career. Throughout. So it only stops when you are dead. It doesn't stop. So am I still doing my CPD? The answer is yes. This is a CPD for me because Walu took me back to the book, so I have to read. And I've captured this already as a CPD for myself. That I was going to make a presentation and I prepared for almost 6 hours in total putting this together. Just 20 slides. So it's a CPD for me because I'm also learning right now based on what I did. Continual professional development is a commitment to ongoing lifelong learning. Commitment. So if you are not doing CPD, then there's no commitment to lifelong learning process. And then finally, in practice, CPD can mean everything from taking a training course or attending an educational event like this to studying for new qualifications or learning new aspects of a job. So there are several things involved in that. Next slide. My next slide should be slide 10 now. Workforce. We know we are all workforce, so no big deal about that. We know who we are. The group of people who work in a company or in a country, we are in that group. So I'm also one of the workforce of Nigeria. I'm contributing to the GDP. Who is not contributing? If you know you are not contributing to Nigerian GDP, you are not a Nigerian. You should be somewhere else. So we are all workforce as long as we are contributing. And productivity is a term that we all know. It's a measure of economic performance that compares the amount of goods and services produced with the amount of input used to produce those goods. Simply put, it's commonly measured in output per worker or output per worker per hour. So by the time we have finished this today right now, some of us should actually be able to say, has it been a productive day for you? That means the hours you have spent here should have contributed to something significant. So why is CPD very important to us? Next slide, that's slide 12. It's a way of planning your development that links learning directly to your practice. So it's a way of planning. So who does the planning? Can anybody respond here? Who does the planning? Okay, so if you think I will do the planning for you, then you are in the wrong boat. You have to do the planning yourself. By the way, if you allow me to do it for you, I will do it the way it will favor me. is not where you are going. So if I do your CBD planning for you, then you have to become what I want you to be. And that's not how it should be. CBD can help you keep your skills and knowledge up to date and prepare you for greater responsibility. 2007, while I was still actively at work, I was given a role as a safety advisor for a project. And that role, I jumped from being an officer to an advisor, and that I didn't understand what that meant. So it was like when they say they give you 3 or 4 promotions at the same time. So I was dumped into somewhere, and I looked around me and I was asking myself, what am I supposed to do here? So they basically removed me from the field to a strategy position, and I didn't understand. And I remember the first thing I did when I was talking to my boss, I cried and I said, sir, what am I supposed to be doing from Monday? And the guy looked at me and said, as from Monday, I don't want to see you on the field again. I said, okay, that's clear. If I'm not on the field, what will I start doing? Because I didn't know what advisors do. And thankfully to the man, he sat me down and he says, no, so your new role means everything that we want to decide on this project, you have to tell us. How am I supposed to tell you? Say, we want to make a decision, you hear, that's saying, what do we do here? I said, sir, I'm looking for hazards. And he sat me down and instantly enrolled me for a course and said, okay, you have been accidentally promoted right now, so you need to go learn this. And for 1 week, I sat under Phyllis Consulting, and they were Phyllis Consulting then, and they were teaching me how the story was just on strategy. Now, I'm a health and safety advisor. It was on strategy, and they started telling me, how do you develop a strategy? How do you work? And I started thinking strategy. That word didn't appear to me in 8 years of my career. By then, I was already 8 years in the industry. That word didn't make any sense to me, strategy. What strategy in safety? Just hunt for your hazard and do your job. And then I learned. For the first 1 year was the, let me say, in all honesty, it looks like one of the worst sessions of my life because I wasn't working, I was learning. I wasn't working at all because everything they wanted me to do, once they say it, I say yes. Straight to the library, straight to books. And unfortunately then, the only mentor I had was my boss. The issue of mentorship was not very common that time. And I didn't have anybody around me that I could jump to. So I had to learn on my feet. Sometime I'm going to present to the top management and I've just finished studying all through the night as if I'm writing an exam. Cram the one I can cram. Look for story I have to look for, and when I get there, they also know I came as a teacher. Because for every question, I already have an answer. If you take me to the other side, then problem has started. Because I prepare my notes, and you must ask me those questions according to my notes. 1 year. But that taught me. Why am I sharing this? Some of us have found ourselves in those places. And you need to understand that when you find yourself there, it means you are being prepared for a greater responsibility. Sometimes you are troubled right now, you are given some role and you just don't understand why they're giving you too much to do. But you don't understand. A very good colleague and friend of mine recently is going to get into a role. And when we were talking, he said, I don't know I'm going to do this role. I said, you have been prepared for this role. You have been prepared, but now you need to go into the role and do what? And implement. So sometimes we are undergoing that preparation and integration or induction in order for us to perform. If you are in that shoes, all you need to do is to do what? Get into your CPD mode and begin to learn. It can boost your confidence, strengthen your professional credibility, and help you become more creative in tackling new challenges. Because you can learn that from somebody and just repeat and say, this is what Julius told me. Sir, this is how to do it. You don't need to say Julius told you, and they'll clap for you. But somebody told you about it, and you just go there verbatim. That's part of learning and CPD. It keeps you thinking fresh, skill relevant, and motivation is high. CPD enables conscious and proactive rather than passive and reactive attitude. Let me emphasize this. If you want to be proactive, and you know, many of us know what proactive means now. It means having your bed laid before you come in the night. It's a simple way of describing proactive. Because if you don't have your bed laid when you arrive in the night, and you are just arriving like I did. I mean, when I was talking with Wale yesterday, I was just used to say, I'm not around. He said, boss, you are not around. I said, I'm not around though. But don't worry, I'll be here. So every plan I need to put in place was in place. Who wants to know where I changed before getting here? Now that's your business. I'm here and I'm dressed. But definitely this is not how I flew down from Asaba. So I made the plans. I told myself, what if the plane did not allow me to come back? What am I going to do? So I made it. That's been proactive. Now, to be in forward or to be forward in life, you need to be proactive. So, and it's CPD that keeps you on that proactive nature. What am I going to be doing in 5 years' time? And if you pick that, then put your CPD. Start doing this. Start doing this. Start doing this. Somebody look and say, why are you doing that? It's not relevant to what you are doing right now. Oh, yes. But it's relevant to my future. So I'm doing it. That's it. Being proactive. And it enables conscious and be proactive. Not reactive. You don't come around and be reactive. You need to be ready in order for you to achieve that goal. So what are the features? That's what I've been mentioning. Focus, personalized. CPD has to be personalized. It is focused on you and you alone. Active learning, relevance. Coherence, sustained. You don't stop now and shut down. You continue. Duration, sustained as well. How long is this going to be for? I expect someone who has seated here now to be telling himself, in 5 years' time, I just had my safety right now. In 5 years' time, I think I should be a manager. What do I need to be a manager? You know, 2010, when I organized a similar seminar like this, one of the things I declare on that platform is, it's taking some of us 10 years to be where we are. But for people who understand what they need to do right now, 3-4 years, you can be there. I said that 10 years ago. I challenged people, I said, you can be here where we are now in 4 years. But some of us only get here in 10 years. The difference that I didn't know then is CPD. Now I understand better. So my journey in the last 5 years was actually a little bit on a cruise control because I understood what I need to do. It was on a cruise control. Very intentional, very deliberate. It just didn't happen. There was a plan and then it was sustained. Of course, it's not an easy thing, but you have to. So next one, let's hear what Albert Einstein has to say. Education is not the learning of facts, but the training of the mind to think. This is certainly true. That's my own interpretation of this. This is certainly true when it comes to the existence of CPD. Ensuring that your skills and abilities are enhanced and expanded upon beyond formal education, beyond university, colleges of education, polytechnics, will permit proficiency and efficiency within your skill set. Beyond education. So formal education is no longer sufficient, guys. You need yourself. And do you know the beauty of this? CPD can be cheap. It can also be expensive. It depends on what you want to learn. It depends on you. So that's what Albert Einstein said, and I believe that strongly. I'm rounding up in 10 minutes, so I'm almost done now. So learning, what are the types? There are 3 main types of CPD that you need to think about. A lot of CPD involves you being proactive and taking steps to equip yourself with the relevant knowledge that your industry requires. So effective and successful CPD, however, is where? It's in your hand. If you repeat that, then that means you mean it. If you refuse to repeat it, maybe you didn't say it there. Effective and successful CPD is where? It's in your hands, guys. If you need help, if you need support, that's why we talk about mentorship, coaching, and all of that. You can reach out to someone. As simple. That's saying, how did you navigate this? Trust me, I won't send you an invoice for it. How many people understand that the closest document on my phone is invoice? It's all on the pages of the phone. Once you say it, boom, auto, you get it. But for this, no, you won't get an invoice. Ask question. Somebody is there, then it makes it faster for you. Because the person might have gotten there in 10 years. You can be there in 1 year. It's a function of identifying those things that you need. So what are the types? We have the structured and active CPD. That's slide 16. Structured and active. You have the reflective or passive, and you have the one we call unstructured, which is self-directed. Any of these three you choose will still give you an opportunity to do what? To learn. It's a CPD journey type. So the structure involves interactive study, participation, very proactive. It could involve you attending training. So send yourself, I'm going for a class, and you pay for it. That's a structured one. You know, workshops, seminars, or even taking part in an online course. The reflective does not require any sort of participation, but much more one-directional. It could involve reading an article, engaging in podcast, keeping up to date with industry news. What is happening in the USH industry globally? How many of you know it? Go online, you will see it. There are many things to learn. I'm a student of data and research, so I want to know what is going on, and I just check. And the day I learned that the distance between the developed economy and our own, how many minutes? Between the developed economy and our own economy is roughly between 10 and 15 years. So we are trying to close that gap right now. But between Nigeria and US, technology transfer is about 10 years. So just think about it. So when I'm doing something here today, that was not 10 years ago in the US. When I learned that, then my orientation changed quickly. And I told myself, so just attending, I remember the first time I flew out to go and attend a course outside. I said, the reason I'm going for this course, I want to go and learn what they're already doing here. It may not be relevant when I get. So when they told me something, I said, what is that in Nigeria? There's no way. So I went to someone and said, how do you used to do this before? It was an ASSP conference at Colorado. And the guy said, okay, you could do this. I said, okay, because where I'm coming from, this one you're talking about, it won't happen now. So what are you doing? And the guy gave me an idea and said this. And I can tell you that's one of the things I do in my business today. It was not 10 years ago in the US. That's the reality. So if that is the reality, then how much do you read? Do you listen to news? Or is just entertainment? Well, entertainment is good if you're in the entertainment industry. If that's your industry, then you must be following what is happening in Hollywood. But if you're in the safety industry, you can't be following Hollywood, I'm sorry. You have to follow another wood. Safety wood, that's my new terminology. You have to follow the safety wood. Not Nollywood, not Bollywood, not Hollywood. Which other wood do we have? I don't know them, so that's the little I know. You must be following the safety wood, because that's where what pertains to you is happening. If you're in the sports industry, follow the sports where it is happening. Follow the news, follow the football, follow the Premiership, follow the La Liga. That's where you are playing. That's your career. Then follow it. But you're in the safety industry, I'm sorry, if I check your priority list and more than 50% is not given to safety, you are in the wrong place. You won't be there in a short time that you need. And the last one is unstructured, self-directed. What does that include? All activities that you would do on your own. Reading, publication, keeping to date with industry journals and magazines, monitoring work by other experts in the field. I did a presentation some time ago, and I sent a message to, was it Monica or somebody that said, please, I need to use one or two of these your slide. This one is exactly what I want to speak about. If I didn't attend, I would not see that slide. And if I didn't listen, I would not say it the way he said it. So just following what others are doing in your field can be a good CPD for you. You can actually write it down that I was there and I was shadowing him when he was doing the job. And I can say, okay, please, can you allow me to also come and do that for 5 minutes? He allowed me, and therefore I now know how to do this. CPD done. And I'm good. So you have to. So any of these you can use. You can use the combination of the three, fantastic. But you must know that these are your avenues to what? To successful career. The circle includes reflection, planning, implementation, and evaluation. So you have to reflect, you have to plan your reflection after you have finished, implement what you have seen, and evaluate. I copy things a lot, guys, if you don't know. So when somebody is laughing at me, is it a crime to copy? You know, sometimes I can even copy you and forget that your name is still there. But you know, in this age of plagiarism and intellectual property, then you have to be very careful. So that's why I can go to Jesus. Jesus, I won't borrow that your terminology. In fact, I'm coming to you very shortly because I have a presentation in power and I don't even know you and Jamie, you're on my case. So I'm coming to meet you guys. Since they didn't call you, it's me they called. You guys have to tell me what to go and say there. Is that allowed? That's CPD, guys. I only need to sit with him for the next 1 hour. Because all these your tama things, I don't understand. Sorry, I don't understand. I really don't know. It's not a joke. I didn't work in that field. Should I know it? No. And it's not a crime, guys. I can't go to jail for that. Nobody. And when I want to put the name there, I'll put co-authored or supported by Julius and Jamil. And everybody will clap for me. I'm the one that will get the glory. And I've learned. It's no big deal, guys. That is the way we learn. And we have to learn that way. All right, so 2 more slides from me or 3 more. So, benefit of CPD to you and your organization. I will not be talking about the organization side, so leave that. But if you're an employer here, you need to learn this because sometimes employers do not support CPD drive. And you are losing as an employer if you don't support it. So for me now, as also an employer and a practitioner, I support CPD because eventually it's a win-win for both parties. So many employers now value learning agility as a core competence. In fact, in some interview, they will ask you a simple question. What have you learned in the last 1 year? You say, I watch Netflix. What's that? Because sometimes when they ask those questions, they don't tell you anything in particular. And that's why you start telling them things that are not relevant to what you are looking for. What have you learned? If I ever interview you, you will get that question from me. Especially if I see a gap in your CV. 2005 to 2009, working. Suddenly I see 2013. Say, okay, 2009 to 2013, what happened? And I'll ask you. Please, sir, 4 years here, what was happening in this? Sometimes it's a shocker to people that are, because they don't think somebody will ask them that question. I'm very careful about that. I say, what happened these 4 years? God, my job, I don't get a job. So what were you doing? I was not doing anything. You have lost that job. I'm serious. Go and ask a child specialist. How can you do 4 years without doing anything? Some will even be very proud. They say, I resigned and there was no job. I was just doing anything. Anything is what? Everything is nothing, guys. You cannot. I can write that 4 years that I was learning. I can write it there that I was using the learning to prepare for my next employment. And that is CPD. Not, okay, no job now, just the loaf, I dey play around. And you say you didn't hear from them. You can't hear from me if I'm the one. Because you need to continue to learn. So, build confidence and credibility. You can see your progression by tracking your learning. You earn more by showcasing your achievements. Handy tools for appraiser. Can you see? For appraiser. You achieve your career goals by focusing on your training and development. You can cope positively with change by constantly updating your skill set. Changes in your industry, you can cope. Some of the things that are happening now, some of us, we're just lucky to have it. My colleagues that are here will attest to this. 2019, during our retreat, I told my team, December, I said, we will start an e-learning and we are setting up a whole room in the office for e-learning. 2019. And I called the person, I said, I want an acoustic room here. We bought the amplifier, bought the TV, bought the mics, bought everything, set up an acoustic room, a small room, with lights, with everything. And my team was like, what are you using for? I said, e-learning. We are starting the virtual class here. And then we started. 2020, COVID happened. Where did I see that? I saw it outside of Nigeria. I was like, there are some people that don't want to come now. So I set it up fully furnished. For almost 3-4 months in 2020, that was our only source of income, virtual learning. During the COVID, my guy would just escape to the place, sit down in the room, AC, and you are doing your training and people are learning. I did it before. I didn't know COVID was coming, but now what is everybody doing? Virtual learning, right? There are more things coming. It makes you think more. Because what you read, you start reflecting. What are they talking about here? when can this happen? How can this happen? You want to be creative and innovative, you need to be on your CPD line. I want to challenge you here as a professional. You don't mind or you don't care. Work is too much, so you don't care about CPD. You are going to be having a job for the rest of your life, not a career. No career grows without CPD. No. All right, so it also helps you to be more productive and efficient by reflecting on your learning and highlighting gaps in your knowledge and experience. I've left the one for organization, don't worry. I'm sure, Wally, this material is available so you can share with everybody that attend this meeting. Let them have it. So my 19th slide, 3 more slides, 19th slide. So on this slide, I wrote something very important. So what's my conclusion? That's what I'm driving to now. I said CPD is what? That's my conclusion right now. You are a competent person, fantastic. Let's see what you have been doing in the last 1 year. Let's see your journey into learning. Let's see what you have learned that you cannot even use right now. Then we know you understand competence. So, final word, and these are my summation. Please, you don't need to agree with this. This is my own driver for life. If it fits you, agree. If not, no, look for yours. But for me, this is my own submission in this presentation. Learning is a life process. And for me, evidence of life is continuous learning. So are you alive here? If you are, then you must be doing CPD. Otherwise, you are only living. You are not alive. So, to be alive, it means you are what? You are continuously developing yourself. That's the first summary for me. Number 2, in today's reality, where specialization is everything. If you go, what is going on now is, I just want to be a specialist. In what area? In how to wear clothes. No, not all clothes. No, in trouser alone. You don't understand what's going on right now. There's nothing like I'm an elephant, I know everything. No. So all my own knowledge, I'm tailoring it towards a focal point right now. Just one area. Oh, that was a health and safety consultant. That's fine. That's too big for me. I can't even understand what that means again. Because when I don't understand anything in power, I don't know aviation, I don't know what's happening in mining, yet I'm a safety consultant. I want them to call me for something right now. And that's where I'm going. So when they say this, it's only Dapo, go and call him. That's the point, because that's where the world is going. There's no generalist again, guys. It has disappeared. So you can begin to do CPD now on a focus. This is what I want to be called. So CPD is your key to competitiveness and is the vehicle to a successful career. And I call that word intentional competency. Very intentional. You must be on top of it and you must be very deliberate about it. So my takeaway, having a job is no longer the ultimate. Let it be a means to a fulfilled life, a fulfilled career, and an impact through CPD. I know some of us have work to do. Some time ago, I did a presentation on job and career, difference between them. Many of us are still in jobs. While you are in that job, can you begin your CPD to a career? That's the difference. Otherwise, you'll be in the job for 30 years, and the day you quit the job, you know you have wasted a lifetime. I know people today that they cry. They're telling you, they say, wow, I just wasted these years. Where can I start again? So, jobs are not evil and they are good. They will also meet some needs. But let them be a means to a very glorious end. And that end should be fulfilled life, fulfilled career that has an impact, and CPD can help you get there. And 5 points here. No CPD, no growth. So you are not doing CPD, you are not growing. If there is no growth, there is no career. If there is no career, there is no purpose. Nobody comes to this industry today because there's money there. By the way, there will be so many people competing with you very soon because safety is becoming a place where you can get a job. So people are rushing into it very seriously. Am I correct, Julius? Okay. So, I finish you, and I don't know what I'm doing. You don't know what I'm doing. Be a safety person now. So, I guess some people say, oh, but they say I should come and do nabosh. What's that nabosh self? They say, they say with it I can become a safety officer. But what are you doing? Because I just did there 2 years now, nothing. So a lot of people are drifting to this industry. We envisaged this many years ago, and we kept saying it, that this is the latest emerging career in our part of the world. So we don't even have people yet. They are coming in drones, because a lot of us here are also running into the schools, into the corpers camp, and telling them, come and be a safety person. So they are coming. And some of them will overtake you if you don't follow CPD. They overtake you fast, because some of us just got in there by accident. They are getting there very deliberate. So they will overtake. So no career, no purpose. No purpose, no fulfillment. You need to be fulfilled in life. If there is no purpose, forget about fulfillment. And my final word, if there's no fulfillment, there's no legacy. At the end of this, what will you be remembered for? It doesn't have to be in Nigeria. I don't want to be the president of Nigeria, and you can quote me. It's not in my goal for 20 years. And by 20 years, I will not want to work in that field again. It's not in my goal. I know for sure. This one, very clear. But the little I want to do, I want to leave a little legacy in that my little space. Even if it's only one person that says it later and said, this is what Dapsin built for me, that's my legacy, I'm satisfied with it. And if you don't have a purpose, stemming from a career, stemming from CPD, and all of that, you cannot build no legacy. And I want to challenge all of us here, no matter how young you are, or no matter how old you are, CPD can help you achieve this. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
Thank you very much, sir.